get it now. I don't know. I got a bunch of trees cut down in Williamsburg. There are those locust trees.
Yeah.
Take the skid loader down there and shove them over to the side and cut them. Some of them are pretty big. I don't know if I'll be able to shove them or not. I might have to dig first.
Good morning.
Morning. Morning. Yeah. It's fun.
Okay.
I think that's your guys' for
You
iPad.
want everybody to initially, or
Just
just me?
chairman, it's gonna come out of you guys' budget.
Okay, okay.
At least if you look through the stuff.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
Tracy,
Thank you.
we'll do that after your schedule.
Well, I've got 9 o'clock. Shall we stand and do our pledge of allegiance?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. And Barb's out in the hall. Item 2 is to approve the agenda. Now, you sent us 2 of them, but I believe it's the one with 11 items.
Yep, because Scott
'Cause
said
that
he
came
did
in
not want
the-
on there. Yep.
okay.
So I edited that.
Okay, very good.
Motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all righty. Been moved and seconded. Call for vote. Farmer, aye?
Beer shake aye.
Very good. 9 a.m., act on compensation board recommendation for fiscal year 25 elected officials' salary. Comments? That was a, you have copies? Do you need to see or anything?
Copy if you got one.
Any thoughts, any recommendations? Gentlemen?
Well, I was thinking a little bit less than 3%, but then on the same token, when I start looking at different ones that are requesting more, and the 2 unions that we have in the county are getting more, I'm kind of leading on what the compensation board said or asked. My 2 cents.
Well, and honestly, it would be very nice if everyone was on the same page, so to speak. But we've got one department that has fluctuated, I think, everywhere from 3% to 11% for their employees. By the time you would factor in a single fee, if you will, we have, as you indicated, both unions, I think, are at 4%. You know, so, 3 almost seems like a bargain, but, I'll probably get chastised for saying it's a bargain, but, what the heck. Seems like show up, I get chastised. So, I understand. I understand where you're coming from with it. Gary?
I guess I'd just stay with the recommendations, because whenever you look at it,
Could I get my sheet back, please? Oh, that's fine. He saw it.
Okay.
He had it. So. Okay. You know,
when you look at down the road, well, it's hard to look at the future, but take like next year, let's say we go down to 2 or 2.5. I think it'll bite us in the rear next year. And we're not gonna keep everybody happy here anyway, especially if we start cutting stuff.
well, the only thing I can say is the last 2 years, the cost of living, I think, was what, about 10% 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Somewhere around 7 last year. This year, it's somewhere around 3, isn't it?
I believe so, a little over 3.
Just a scotch over.
Yep.
Okay. And so at least we would be staying with the cost of living. And that's not all bad. I did ask at a meeting the other night, and I think you two were present at that meeting as well, what some of the communities have been doing. And, you know, we heard that reply, which isn't nearly what we've been doing. So they haven't even been keeping up with the cost of living, according to the statements I was hearing, so.
Well, I think this is a good place to work for the most part. And if we, well, like the county attorney's office, they're having a hard time finding anybody.
Well, I think it's kind of that way, many offices, you know, getting qualified.
15 applicants already.
Question for you, Haley. The updated wages and hourly wages that you give us here, that I'm looking at,
Yep.
secondary,
This is current year, this was
Okay.
last year.
yep, I understand that, but my question is, on the, 2 unions that we have, they're supposed to be getting 4%, was that figured in here on this one?
For what their current year is, yes. But the sheriff's office hasn't that's not signed yet, right, Sue?
Correct.
So,
I mean, we have a tentative agreement signed.
Yeah.
So,
That's fine, but I mean, that still carries on to the contract that we have now,
Yeah.
that signed.
correct.
This does. And ain't that 4% too? The old contract?
Yes.
the old contract's 4%.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was. Because I think Ron even said that, and Myron.
But did we follow that, or did we make it
Well,
the same as everyone
the
else?
sheriff's, you went back and increased it. So
That's what I was
this
thinking.
does reflect that.
Okay.
Both of them, yeah, we increased.
Yeah.
Right.
Even secondary roads.
Correct, because you made them whatever we got, no matter
But now,
what.
like, this fiscal year, we're going back whatever the contract says, because we can't go down
Right.
from what the contract
Correct.
says. We gotta stay what it is.
But that doesn't show that as projected here.
It does, don't it?
No, because
No.
I don't, this is just current to go on.
Right.
Fiscal year 25 is what we're working on today.
Yeah, 24, 25, it gets confusing. So,
Yeah. So like, when
Like
you
the
guys are,
assessor, then you won't, that ain't accurate either then.
I don't know what you guys, what they acted on the other night.
well, it
no.
wouldn't show,
Because this is, so this is current year, so this is what they'll get until June 30th.
Right.
And then July 1st, whatever you guys decide today, then the new wages will start. Because that's when the new budget year starts.
this is the paycheck today.
Okay,
Was there comments?
I believe it's 4%, correct? Isn't that what they settled on at the sheriff's office and secondary roads? Isn't that what the contract said?
yes, I believe it is.
That's what I thought I remembered.
Ronnie, yeah, they both said
I
it
believe
at
it
one
was.
of them.
I don't know what the current one was
I don't know.
projected, I don't know that yet, because nothing's been signed, that's not come in front of the board.
And what this would do is affect not only the elected officials, but their deputies
Deputies,
as
correct.
well.
Correct.
Yep, that is correct. And then we act upon, the non-union,
After that.
non-commissioned,
Yep,
non-elected, yeah.
yep.
And as far as the county attorney's office, I think the assistants get
I got them
percentages of,
listed out separate.
yeah, they get, correct. Mhm.
I think Ray sent you that.
He did,
Yeah.
yes.
So that'll be later on.
I have no problem with nothing, but again, I'm an advocate of trying to treat everybody fair and equally. And it's having all the other, I think conservation's at 4, aren't they?
Yep,
And so it's having all the other departments that we don't have control of, other than budgets, of course. So, but you can cut a budget, that doesn't mean they cut their salaries. They just cut something else. So. So what say ye?
you want me to make a motion, I'll go with the 3%. The only stipulation I'm gonna have is that, speaking for myself, no supervisor gets a raise.
I have no problem with that. In fact, I'd even take the $5,000 stipends recommended off.
Okay?
Chair, until just a few years ago, never got compensated extra. I have no problem with that. Would that be part of your motion?
Sure, I'll add it to it.
Okay, all right,
Second?
okay. Been moved and seconded that we follow the compensation board recommendation for the elected officials with the exception of the supervisors, and that would be as stated.
And it's by resolution.
Doesn't matter, we
No,
vote individually
no, but I'll have
anyway.
to tweak that, and then I'll see if Sue can print it for me
Okay.
and sign it today.
All right, it's been moved and seconded, and I'll call for a vote. Primer, aye.
Seaman, aye.
Mearshank, aye.
You're good, thank you.
Do you care if I email you that, Sue? Will you print that for me? Thank you.
Okay, now, item 4 is to discuss and act on pay increases for the non-elected, non-union, non-commissioned, and non-contracted employees. And with that, we have several special requests, and this is the time that we would, rather than mid-year, this is the time that we would act on those requests. We've always encouraged the department heads to wait until this time of year. So, and we have, Gary, do you need copies of anything? Just to look over again.
That's the individuals that are asking, their department heads are asking them more.
And this is the one for county attorney's office, because it doesn't quite do the breakdown on, I think, on this simple sheet here.
I guess I broke it down for you.
Okay, well, it's probably on
You're
there.
gonna trust my math.
Okay.
Why don't you look at that? You can look at it.
Oh, yeah, I've already done that. And item 2 on there does not, I mean, there would be a 3% on top of that. If you read his email again.
Well, I did talk to the county attorney, and the, especially Dubuque, they're gonna be done with that pretty quick, or they're gonna meet their goals. It'll be about 3 months early or so. So they're doing a great job, they really are.
Well, he keeps us in the loop with emails, even as late as this morning. I think his recommendation was because some of them had taken on job duties that really were not what they were meant to be.
And Dubuque is really happy with what's going on, because they haven't had any collections there for years. So, and it's my understanding that attorneys are in short supply, especially in rural areas. And I think the problem, part of the problem is we sit between Cedar Rapids and Waterloo.
Well, I think your assistants that he's been advertising, is kind of like the secondary roads have been advertising for an assistant engineer. You know, these are some positions that require additional schooling or special schooling, and different job requirements, you know, to fill the bill. I get that. And so those are going to be a little tougher to fill compared to, you know, other positions.
Don't want to jinx it, but we had a really good interview yesterday for that position.
Which one?
Assistant county attorney.
Good. Good.
So fingers crossed.
Yep. In years past, county attorney has taken out of their collection portions some of those wage increases and handled a portion of. I don't know that that is continuing on at this point, is it, Haley?
I think they changed it back. It was a certain percentage that I think prior to Ray, they would go up to like a set amount of dollars.
Correct.
Like 27,000.
That's what I was thinking, is in the upper 20s, you know.
And then we divided that out between the certain employees, and then we
Right,
paid it
right.
out of the two. It's not that easy in payroll. I'd almost rather just do a transfer, but we made it work.
Sure. And I don't know that Ray has committed to that, has he?
I didn't see the email he sent you guys. I took it as that's what he was leaning on, because if they met their threshold, then he would want to utilize the collections. But
Could you email and maybe clarify that, please?
I'll respond.
Is that might
I don't know if he's in court this morning.
make the pill a little easier to swallow?
That's the way I took it.
Okay, that's the way you took it?
Yes,
Okay,
what it explained to me, if they hit their threshold, they'll have to have this extra funds.
okay. Well, I don't,
Instead of put it in the county's coffer, that he would use that for the raises.
okay, let's double check. Just a quick email. Thank you. And I don't know that that had a stipulation before. It was just part of it.
No.
Well, Dave would give an extra percentage, and then that's how
Right,
he
that's
justified it.
kind of how I thought it was. Yeah, couple of the other ones that was requested, of course, was in secondary roads with Deb Cummings, and then Jessica Meyer. You know, Dean had said he would decline his 3% and pass it on to Jessica Meyer. I have no issues with that. And since we're replacing that department head anyway, the whole thing's up in the air with that. Because there's a salary range with that.
Ray responded,
Good.
yes, I want to use incentive fund to supplement salaries. That is how he requested.
Okay, so that wouldn't matter whether they met threshold or not.
He didn't mention threshold. Yes, I want to use incentive fund. I think they'll have money in there regardless of that one county thing, but
Okay.
I'm thinking they already hit the threshold
in the other one, Bremer he
Yeah,
did.
already
Correct.
hit
Yeah.
the
Yes.
bucket.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
Buttes is a big,
It had
Butte was
larger
big,
one.
Yeah.
they knew that was going to be a challenge.
yeah,
Yeah, but they're doing quite well with it.
yep.
So, okay.
Was there one other one? I can't remember. I'll go back to look at my email to you guys.
Well,
I mean, for
This is-
individualizing them.
well, the sheriff's
Oh,
office,
yep,
he
yep.
wanted
Yep,
her.
and that's one I couldn't
Yeah,
remember.
with Karen.
Yep.
Yeah, because of the union, he wanted to treat her the same, and that was at a 4%.
Yep.
Would we need to name each of these off or as presented?
In the past, if you did across the board for all the others, and then you would individualize those that got the
Okay.
difference. Otherwise, it's too hard to clarify enough for us to follow why, like for the audit firm, they'll ask to justify the wages
Sure,
and stuff.
okay, okay. All right. So we would need to actually go down and list how he sent this out from the attorney's office, correct?
If he's individualizing them, yeah. Unless he's given all those in the, in the certain department a certain percent, we could do it that way, but
Well, I think they all got a 3%, but some of them got 6.
yeah, so then
Some
I
of
would
them got-
individualize it.
See, one of the
A
new
flat.
hires, I believe in giving them 3%, but I do not believe in giving that person 6% because they haven't been with the office that long.
On his, for example?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that'd be up to,
But I mean, he knows what they do. I don't.
oh, I get that. I get that. And just doing your job doesn't necessarily mandate a higher percentage. If you're going above and beyond doing, I'll pick on secondary roads. I mean, there was 1.5 people out there previously. And so they've cut that part-time staff person out, and Deb is doing the whole thing.
Yeah, when Alicia transferred to my office.
Yeah, yeah, so,
There is somewhat of a disadvantage, let's say she quits, then there isn't anybody that has, they're not up to speed, you understand what I'm saying?
well, that's true, but I think when Deb, picking on her when she came on, Alicia was already at the auditor's office, wasn't she?
No, we were sharing her at that time.
Well, I get that, but was that with Penny there?
No, Alicia started, Penny was full-time when Elaine retired, and then Alicia was part-time over there.
Which
So
I
there was
get.
1.5, and then when
But-
Penny left, Alicia took it on full.
Okay, that's how it worked.
Yep. And then
Then.
when
Deb
during
came in.
2020 with elections, and we were like slammed, we just couldn't keep up, so
Sure,
she already knew payroll and stuff, so.
Okay.
transferred her.
okay. So I mean, it's a natural thing, Gary. I mean,
You gotta work
somebody
through it.
leaves you, you work through it, and hopefully they have a little overlap for training, you know, so.
So what's your feelings on everybody else?
Well,
You can't go any higher than what the comp board says, correct?
No, you can on those. The comp board's the only one that you're limited to.
correct. The others you can do, you know, virtually anything on. So, what's my feelings? I feel better knowing Ray is, you know, throwing money into the hat out of his department, and that's based on collections, obviously. That's how they get those extra funds. And just to go down his list, Deb Fleming, he was asking for a $5,000 increase plus the 3%. Lori Sila, Joyce, Kelsey, and Angie, he was asking for a total of 6%, 3 and 3. And so, which that other 3%, I'm assuming would come out of his collection funds.
So he's, clarify that again, so 3 plus 3 is 6, and then, so just the 3, the additional on top of the other 3, or?
That's the way I'm reading it.
Okay.
And Elena and Deb, he asked for a dollar amount. Deb was, like I said before, a $5,000 amount, and Elena was $2,120. Dollar figures plus the 3%. Now, this may sound screwy, but I would anticipate those $2 figures would come out of the collections funds. 3% would come out of the budget, normal budget. Lori, Joyce, Kelsey, Angie would be the 3% collection, 3% budgetary. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the way I'm reading his email. Okay. Then you've got, you know, this is, well, I'm gonna take it on this because it's, Elena's listed twice. Okay. With a number, but I'm gonna take this. Deb Cummings at 6%. Doug, Myron, Randy, Karen Utoff, which was Sheriff's Office, Karen is, was at 4%. And Jessica was 3 plus 3, taking Dean's 3%. Is that clear as mud?
It does for me, because I got the figures in front of me. So.
Correct. That's the recommendation, the request.
Okay, so that's the individuals. What about everybody else now?
Well, again, it's pretty tough to give comp board recommendations and then everyone else, boy, that's all over the board. Who are we talking for? Well, we're talking that payroll list here, correct? Is it 3? Is it 4? You know, we know it's all over.
You'd be talking like the part-times, non-deputies, non-union, so. it'd be
How's
kind
that
of-
work with the sheriff's reserve deputies?
They're only a certain amount regardless, but I think there's still a union contract too.
They fall under a union?
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
And the courthouse security, yeah, all those.
Sure.
Maintenance. to anybody that's non-contract, you know, sometimes the contract will state a certain amount.
Mhm.
For like the VA, the non-commissions, yeah, so. VA conservation assessor, they have their own recommendations.
Yeah, it just, that's what I said, having these different boards and having it all over the,
County
The charts.
government can be confusing.
yeah, well, most of the boards, Conservation Board, I don't know what VA did off the top of my head.
3,
They did 3,
yes.
okay. Your unions, conservation are both, are all 3, 4%.
Did they act?
5.
What's that?
Assessor is asking for 5.
Oh, yeah, that's not passed yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that was your hearing, right?
Yeah,
Rick, mine was 4.
Yours was?
You know,
that was with the health board,
it was that and land use.
okay. Okay. Thank you. So there you are, you're looking probably either 3 or 4. What did you say the cost of living was?
A little over 3, back when this all started off.
Sure.
It's probably higher than that now.
Yeah, I don't keep up on it.
And the other thing that I guess I'm looking at, 2 different things on the insurance. I made a motion that we're gonna heat the raise.
Which was about $20, wasn't it?
If,
On
so
the
it'd be
family.
$240
No,
for the singles.
it was
We got-
$44 additional on family and about 20,
Be
wasn't it?
$500 for the family members.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, we got 78 family members, I'm going off what you said,
Sounds right.
and 33 singles that take insurance. So I guess you gotta somewhat figure that in. Would it be hard for you, Haley, if a guy goes split the difference, 3.5%?
No, we just figure that out.
I don't think it'd be hard for it, I mean, calculator works that way.
I would just, but those that budgeted for 3, then,
They're gonna have to come up.
and
Make it
then.
work.
Yeah, I mean, the levies are published in the paper, but
They are?
just the levy doesn't show the details yet. That'll be the next one.
Yeah.
Publication, but that's what I was basing them on. So, I know you made the department heads do that before. But I think those that didn't specify to you guys individually, like, that you just heard from, the rest, I think, were 3%. But-
That they figured on their budgets.
Yes,
right?
but I think they did that because of the comp board recommendation.
Correct.
I'm sure they would be grateful for more, but you know, that's you guys' decision.
You got your list of the individuals, right? I got places to be, so.
Well, I do,
For the, I do too, but I don't have them listed out on the, I got percentages, not,
oh, okay, the 2
yeah,
that they requested, or that Ray, the county attorney,
Extra.
requested.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I went by percentage on the list.
I get that, yeah,
To me, that was easier than cash dollar
Yeah.
amount.
yeah.
But if,
And Ray figured in his budget 3%,
correct,
and out of,
and I'm only gonna give them the 3% in my motion.
okay,
That's what I'm leaning on,
Plus-
because they're gonna get the other from the collection agent.
percentages for
Yeah,
flat fee
Yep.
from the collection.
yeah.
Okay.
But still include that in your motion, so it's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you need this?
Yes, I do. You got them all wrote down, the percentage, or do I gotta go through?
He's got it out
Oh,
here.
mercy sakes.
Yeah, yeah, see, like, here's this one, it's 5 there, and then the 3,
Okay,
okay? And here's the 3s.
okay, that's
Okay.
the one.
All right, the other one is Elena, which was 2120, was his,
Okay, cash.
yeah, and then 3.
Okay,
The others was Lori, Kelsey, Angie was 3 and 3. Does that make sense?
plus,
Joyce, I forgot Joyce, I'm sorry.
this,
Yeah, 3% was budget, 3% was from his
okay,
collection,
yep.
okay? That's how he had it broke down.
Lori's, I got Lori's name, yeah.
They're the
Anyway.
same as Joyce,
Same, okay, got it,
3 and 3,
okay.
and Kelsey.
Oh, boy.
Then you've got this sheet, right?
Yeah, that's the front side.
Okay.
Let me knock these off that are,
The top, 1, 2, 3 you would take off,
you know,
where it says collections.
well, let's try this. I'll make a motion for these individuals, starting off with Deb Cummings, would get a 6% raise. Doug Kearns, Myron Prezick, Randy Sherwood, and Karen Utah would get a 4% raise. Jessica Meyer would get a 6% raise.
That 6% is a 3% from Dean.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't figure that.
But, yeah, we'll just say,
Well,
yeah, we'll know that to eliminate Dean.
yeah, that's how he did it.
I'm going by
He
the-
didn't take an increase,
Yeah,
so,
We'll just-
okay, now for the hard ones. Ready?
yeah. It's on my sheet, yep.
Okay, Deb Fleming, she will get, how about, it'd be easier if I name all these off and then come back and do the individuals again. Deb Fleming, Lori, Al,
Elena.
Kelsey, Alina, Angie, and Joyce. There again, if I go with the 3%, like he was asking, and I'm leaning on the 3.5 for everybody else, is that gonna also screw you up in the auditor's office?
Everyone else, as in, the
These-
ones you're not listing out.
6 individuals? Or would it be easier if I just keep it all, because that 0.5% can't be that much money.
No, I thought they were 3 and 3 that you were gonna.
They're all 3,
Yes.
okay? All 3. What I'm asking everybody, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll call them 3%, all right? And then Deb Fleming is gonna get also $5,000 extra out of the collection fund. Lori will get $3,000, or excuse me, back up. 3% more, and that'll come out of the collection fund. Alina will get 3%. That comes out of the, no, Alina, you got too many of them here. Let me back up.
It's right here.
Yeah, Alina's supposed to get $2,120 out of the collection fund. Kelsey is supposed to get 3% out of the collection fund. Angie, 3% out of the collection fund, and Joyce out of the collection fund.
3% as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
I hope that I explained that.
So you're across the board, the regular 3 out of the regular budget, and then the additional 3 is coming out of collections.
You got it.
Yep.
Perfect. You said it a lot faster than I did. Okay, and then everybody else that's not non-union, not election officials, I will ask for a 3.5% increase. That's my motion.
Got that? Okay. All right. Is there a second?
I guess I'll second it.
And you understand it? Okay, because you didn't have that in front of you, so, okay. All right. It's been moved and seconded. I will call for a vote, and this will be by resolution, correct?
Well, this one, we just have to do it by motion. But
Okay, well, still calling for a vote. Primer, aye.
Him and I.
Beershank, aye.
All right.
There's mine.
Yeah.
The number 5 is easy. I just want to refresh, since it's been a while since they've acted on that. The chairman of the precincts, I'm keeping it at $325. That's for the full day. $250 for all others. And then they get the additional $25 to attend training, and then the mileage. So if we just, I just wanted to just keep refreshing that, so if you want to act on that, to keep it as is.
325 for your
The chairman of each
Chair.
precinct
250
for the others,
for the others, plus.
plus the $25 to attend training sessions, and then their mileage, whatever the mileage rate is at that current year. Because that changes every year, but
Yeah.
that's why you just say mileage per federal rate.
Okay. Is this an increase or this the same?
This is the same.
This is what it is.
This has been this way,
Yes.
but I know another county that got called out for not, so I just
Okay.
want to be transparent.
Okay. Did you write that down?
Yeah, I knew what it was.
Okay. Okay.
Because my
Yeah.
worked elections.
I get it.
My,
Yeah.
my question is though, you're gonna have the next election, to my line is gonna be in June,
June 4th,
so that'll be on,
this fiscal
My-
year, current
yeah.
fiscal year, yep.
Correct.
So
There
if you
you
remember,
go.
my elections, budgets,
yep.
the specials is that we just
Yeah.
had Tuesday.
And then the big one in November, that's gonna be
Next.
the good one.
So that's what, I mean, it's gonna basically be the same, but we'll have more precinct workers,
Yes.
obviously. And we budget for that.
Okay, so my question is though, if we give them a little raise, do you have it in your budget to cover them?
If you wanna give them more than that, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can, it's general supplemental, so I'll just have to look at that to make sure it stays within the levy, but depending on how much you're talking. I know it's a long day for them, because they come in at 6,
Mm-hmm.
polls close at 8, sometimes it's 10 o'clock before they're done at the polls. And then, sometimes they drive back to my office yet that night,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to make a trip the next morning if they don't come that night. So that's where we give them the mileage for the trips back and forth.
What are you thinking for,
I mean, I know, according to other counties, we pay pretty good, I feel like. I mean, I know, back in COVID, when some of the counties were giving them extra for COVID, but that's totally,
So your workers, if they're putting in a 14-hour day, they're making less than $18 an hour.
and some of them do it for,
Yeah, doing a community service.
we've had a few ask for no pay I just
Sure.
enjoy doing it, but don't do
You usually don't have no trouble filling them positions, do you?
We don't, and now that the Secretary of State has that form where we can get poll worker submissions too, you know, we just have to keep it party balanced.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That sometimes can be like in the morning of, if we have an
Mhm.
emergency and they call us at 5 AM and then but,
That's have happened.
yep. Or if
Definitely.
we've had an election worker die, when I
Yeah.
find out that morning. I mean, things happen.
Yeah.
Some amount of money didn't help there, so.
So we get in early for those reasons, so.
Well, what are you thinking?
Do you want to bring up like the regular 250 for the others, or?
Well, I was leaning on just a flat fee, $25.
Additional?
Both sides, yeah. On the chairman
So go to
and,
350 and 275.
correct.
Correct.
That's what I was leaning on. But like I said, if you've got it in your budget that you can handle this,
I would think I would have some cushion leeway, because I have to, because it's like, I never know.
because you're thinking.
Because I always have to
30.
budget for specials, even if we don't have a special election.
Well, you're gonna have more. You're gonna have what, at least 4, 5?
Try
for the-
5 at
For the
least,
presidential,
5 per precinct.
so 5. You're
But
look-
it should be, I mean, if you look at 2020, it should, I mean, that's kind of what we go off of history, so.
Yeah, you're looking at 100 and a quarter, 13 precincts,
No, we have 19 with
19,
absentee.
so another $2,000 more for the big one.
I mean, if you want me to figure it and have you act on it next week too, we could, but,
No, you got it
I
on
think
there.
it would
mean,
work.
It's a,
yeah. No, I think they would probably appreciate it, because it's been a long time since we have increased it.
I know,
But I know we increased township trustees, was it last year or the year before?
mhm.
So we did look at that. I'm sure they would all be appreciative, because as you know, it's a very long day. They can't leave the polls.
Correct, I know
They
that.
can,
They have to, sometimes they order their lunch in.
right.
Um,
So you would recommend 350 and 275?
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
and then keep the $25 training and then the mileage.
that, yeah, all that's, mileage, that
Changes, yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, we can't,
Right, that's
what it is
based
is what
off.
it is.
Right. Okay?
Okay?
That was your motion?
That's my motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Yep,
All right.
I'll second that.
Then moved and seconded, and I'll call for vote. Primer, aye?
Seaman, aye.
Here's your guy.
Okay.
Myron on his way, I hope.
No, Myron could not be here. He didn't, when you guys tabled it, he could not be here, so I have his stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I was crossing that out. Here's the next item too.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. I think I emailed you that. We wanted to make sure the motion didn't set out amounts for Deb and Elena, but I think we're good.
I think you did, didn't you?
Oh,
I
it's-
tried spelling it out. I can give you my chicken scratching.
That's fine, yeah.
You're
Just-
more than welcome to have it.
Okay.
This is kind of your end here, Rick. Trucks.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, you stated the different amounts. I think we're good. We just got to-
Well, as per Myron's recommendation, the last sentence,
Yep.
he's recommending the low bid.
Okay.
My only question is that's a small engine. The Detroit diesel. It's 13 liter compared to a 16 liter.
But horsepower, yeah, it is less.
Well,
Yep.
that's a computer thing.
Yeah.
You know, you adjust the computer, you can take that just about anywhere you want, you know, and so, the experience I've had is sometimes those smaller motors have a shorter life.
What do they do, rev them up?
No, they're just, it's like having a small block Chevy and a big block Chevy. I mean, there's a difference. So, one doesn't work as hard as the other.
Yeah.
So that's pretty well what it amounts to. But it's his recommendation to do the Western Star, the 25 Western Star 49X with the Detroit Diesel 13 at 152,915 was a
What are
little
we
bit.
looking at, $4,000?
Well, I don't have much experience with Mack. Mack would be the second lowest bid. And so I don't know. Detroit builds one heck of a motor.
What do they got for transmissions?
Well, most of them are automatics anymore. And so it shows you here, the Western Stars are a 12-speed, the Mack is a 13. Very little difference between the two. And they're not out there running the interstates, so, you know.
They're gonna be using those transmissions, they're gonna be stopping and starting all the time, it ain't like going down the interstate.
But again, that
They're just gonna use it on flatbed. That's what this is for. This is a tractor to go on the flatbed. Moving the bulldozer, moving the excavator, stuff like that.
well, it
Or
also
picking up a
moved their,
maintainer.
but I think they've got their belly dump, the one they haul gravel with also, don't they?
I think they got a semi to hook on that, I thought.
I think they do too.
Okay. All right.
I think, I'm not positive.
Again, following his recommendation,
Yep,
you know, that's what he's recommending.
Do you want to just read off those three for the record like he does?
Happy to. Gator Truck Center, Mack, model is Granite, it's a 2025, and that was a 13-speed, as Gary asked, and I don't know what MP8, but it's a 455 horse, and that came in at, the bid was $155,459. The next bid on here is Truck Centers, Western Star 49X 2025. It's a DD16 at 530 horsepower, 12-speed automatic, and that bid is $156,955. The bid he's recommending is from Truck Center, Western Star 49X 2025. It's a Detroit Diesel 13-speed, set at 525 horse, 12-speed automatic. And that bid is $152,915, and that is his recommendation.
I'll make a motion to accept the bid for the Detroit from Truck Center for $152,915.
Okay,
Second,
all right, been moved and seconded, call for vote, Primer, aye?
Seaman, aye.
rear shank eye. I just hope that, I don't know, do you have much experience with these automatics?
That's about all you can get anymore, Gary.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're just, and it has to do with, well, it's like go buy a car off the, you know, a new vehicle, whether it be a pickup or a car, they're all automatics. I mean, many, many years ago, they were all manual transmissions, you know, but, yeah, they're all automatics. And it also helps on your driver pool. You know, it's amazing how many new drivers have no idea how to run a manual transmission.
Really?
Yeah. It's crazy. Okay, next item here, item 7 is to,
Yep, I passed that out.
yep. Each of you got a copy?
Yep.
Okay,
So,
So-
you know, they have to be certified and do certain education every so often, so.
Yep.
Yep.
She's been a medical examiner investigator for quite some time, so she's gonna get her refresher course.
Okay,
And I think it's next week, so.
okay, I make a motion approved to let Elena Johnson to attend the St. Louis, Missouri Conference for medical examiners.
Second?
How's that sound?
Mhm.
sounds like you almost read it. Moved and seconded, call for vote, Primer, aye?
Team and I,
Big guy.
So you'll see those claims coming next week probably,
okay.
so. For the budget stuff,
What's in?
I was gonna pass out, this is the maximum levy, proposed property tax, you know, the March 26th, that had to be separate. And then, just so you guys have it, this goes over the adoption, so like the limitation that we had to, so it's forcing us to lower general basic and general sub, just by the evaluations, and we couldn't go over the 3%, because our revenue growth was 3.11, going off of the same levies last year versus our current valuation. We were gonna grow too much, so that was that House File 718 requirement.
Is that 3% gonna bite us in the rear going forward?
What do you mean? Like, it's gonna be that way for 4 more years after this year,
Yeah.
unless legislation
Well,
changes.
that's what,
That's why, you know, like I said, our affiliates gonna,
yeah.
because, you know, all these unfunded mandates, just like medical exam, I mean, that's stuff that the state forces on the counties. It's out of our control. We have to fund it,
Sure.
but yet they're holding us to grow.
Yeah.
So it is a concern. So hopefully, if everybody voices their opinions as such, I think the big concern was those 30 counties that were above the 3.5. Some of them were like at 4.10, but we're all getting punished
Yeah.
to make us all come back down. So I'll give you guys that. And then I also wanted to touch base, I know you had left early the other day, Rick. Sue was questioning like the originals for the board stuff. So I just want to clarify, you know, per chapter 22, the examination of public records, in lieu of our open records request, how important it is for us to keep a hard copy of the original. So like, for example, if there's a resolution that refers to a 2080 or a contract and the signatures, if I'm the attester, I obviously have a copy, but if I'm not the attester, I don't always get those back to me. I just want to stress to everybody that
Yeah.
we need to keep that.
Well, I'm sure those type of things, contracts, et cetera, should be.
Right.
I think HR would probably be more of a personnel
But
type
like, you know,
scenario, I guess.
just
I wasn't
to
here,
clarify
don't
the
know.
duties to
Yeah.
as clerk to the board and Iowa Code 331.504, so if anybody wants that.
Okay.
I brought that along, so I'll give you guys a copy of that with the budget, but
Okay,
I
good.
don't know, other budget concerns. I'm gonna go ahead and let the department head know today, so maybe we can play around. You know, that's why I haven't fully
Okay.
done all the rest of the budgeting. I was waiting for the wages, because I'd rather
Sure.
adjust it more
No, I get it.
accurately than not.
Yeah,
Um,
okay. I think we should save reports for next week if at all possible. I know you've got an engagement.
I got a little time yet. I can,
So-
I would, go ahead.
Just, you remember those forms I do for all those other entities that come forward, like BDG and all them?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on all those, so I can make sure
Oh,
I
what
let
the
them know
requests
back?
were?
Yeah, you know, like if you were in approval of all those different
Yes.
entities, the housing,
Yes,
pay cap,
yep,
all those.
yep, Kirkwood. Yep, I have no problem with any of them requests.
Any of their askings?
No,
Okay,
none whatsoever.
because they like to know too for their budgets
Right.
going
Yep.
forward,
Right.
Yep,
so I need to notify them.
yep. That it?
I think so, so you guys are okay with those, because I'm gonna let them know that
Yeah,
you,
yeah, I have no
we
problem,
discussed
Gary.
it.
No, I didn't either.
Okay, so they're asking, oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
Okay. Here, I'm gonna give you a quick, we have a,
this is the reports.
yes,
Okay.
on the reports. Real quick deal here. We got a problem at, I gotta call it the right name, emergency,
EMA office?
yes, the EMA office.
Okay,
I did not know this until 2 days ago, that they're technically separate entities, even if they're in the same building.
I mean the sheriff's office and EMA.
Correct.
Yeah, well, they're sharing a building, yes. Uh-huh.
Did not know that. The problem is, where it's highlighted in yellow,
Yep,
the floor is come down this far, has settled. It's real bad right through here. This is a load-bearing wall here. I got the blueprints out last night, yesterday afternoon, excuse me, and there's a spread footing in here carrying this wall across here.
okay,
That hasn't moved a bit. All right, there's no footing all the way around the perimeter of these offices. So this corner on this side, it's down that far. The
This is a-
baseboard,
basically it's a
This-
floating slab.
yes, that's all it is.
Okay,
So this wall here, I mean, there's an inch and a half, 2 inches underneath this wall. This wall is being held up just from the corner where the doorway is, here, back to the wall. The corner here is holding that whole wall up. The whole slab has come down. This is the conference room where all the tables and all the
Right.
computers are and everything. It's down all the way along there too. Not as bad, maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch. Okay, inside the walls, they're fine. Rebar, according to the blueprints, are anywhere from 12-inch on centers over the footing to 24-inch on center when they put them in. 5/8 to 1/2 inch was through the floor. Floor is supposed to be at least 4 inches thick. But basically,
the ground is settled or under.
yes, yes. They use sand for a fill according to the blueprints when they built the sheriff's office. I mean, what's done is done, we can't change it.
Right,
I guess my next step is I was gonna contact some of them foam companies from Cedar
I was
Rapids.
just gonna ask if that could be drilled and foamed up.
Yes, because I guess I kinda am surprised, the few that was around me yesterday, how I could take a tile or floor tile, pop it up,
Pop it up.
look at it, put it back down, you didn't even know I did it. So,
Okay,
but to me, when I use a hammer and hit the cement around the sides,
does it
it
sound hollow?
sounds hollow.
Okay,
And I'm guessing, you cannot see, I did not have time yesterday to bring a 8-foot level along, which I will do it next time I get involved with this a little bit more, that I should be able to put an 8-foot level on it and actually see where the floor is still plumb yet, and then where it's gotta have a crack in it in order to tip.
so is this gonna come out of EMA budget?
No,
This should come out of,
probably, that's the question is, where's it coming out of? It's county building.
yeah, but
And
is
there
it
again,
sheriff's
it's,
office
well,
or is
there
it
again, the discussion was it's separate from,
from the sheriff's office?
yes.
He did that when he moved from our courthouse basement over there
Right,
with the FEMA and all that, but, I mean, EMA has their own levying authority, but since it's our building, they don't. We insure it and do all that, just like we do on these other facilities.
So I guess the first question is, get a company in there from Cedar Rapids, wherever,
give
that
us a
does the
bid,
foaming, yes, and then go from there.
right,
There's gotta be more than one company too, isn't there?
well,
Oh,
depends on the dollar figure.
So I was gonna show you,
Well-
and you come over.
We could get somebody out of Waterloo too,
Well, whatever.
Well, yeah, wherever.
Wherever, but I mean,
starts
This is-
here and goes around.
yeah, and this is, his office when you first come in. And then like when you've been attending the meetings, we come through here to get to the big room where all the tables and all the computers are.
And that's
This is
all
where it's
too.
bad here. And then this stub wall right here, you can look underneath the wall from either office. This wall here is floating. The only thing that's got a good spread footing on is this thing right here. That spread footing is, according to the blueprints, is 5 foot wide and 2 foot deep. It's 5 foot wide, 2 foot deep. That's this wall that comes all the way across over here to this building.
That's a load bearing wall.
Yes.
Did you wanna like, put a bid notice out, depending on the amount, dollar, just to be,
Not yet. I wanna investigate some of these foam, you know, I know about foaming on the outside of buildings. And I guess I'm old school, when it comes to outside like sidewalks where they did the mud jacking with the sand and all that, and they blew that in. I have not had nothing to do with foaming where they blew, like you see on TV.
I've
I
only
have
had
no-
one experience,
I have no, yeah.
and it worked temporarily.
Okay, well, see, that's where because I know there's different poundage of foam, anywhere from ½ pound to 2 pounds to 5 pounds, and it depends what foam you use, the density,
Correct.
how well.
Yeah.
So with your experience,
This was a sidewalk that had fallen, and so they foamed it, brought it back up. It worked for a couple years, then it was right back where it started. Not where it started, but it was right back down. So obviously, it either wasn't a dense enough foam, or not enough, or something. You know,
I think the main reason why this is going on right now is they use sand inside that building when they build it for fill.
instead of lime.
Yep, and being the drought that we've technically been in for 16, 18 months, the moisture is sucking out and pulling it back out from underneath there in the
Sure.
building, pulling it down deep, and that's why everything went down.
okay, so let's say we start getting a bunch of rain.
Will it come up? I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
It would be.
To me, it's no life and death matter. You know, it's not gonna hurt the operations of the inside of the building. My other question is, what else is gonna settle inside that building then down the road?
Well, I'm amazed that they didn't put footings under it. I mean, why would you?
Well, that's what I
not?
thought when they built that building. They should have put a lip on the footings themselves and set the wall on top of it.
Yeah,
And if it honeycombed underneath it, who cares?
right. But all that's
But,
hindsight.
yeah, that's right. You can't
And-
do nothing about it.
And then a lot of that was probably the low bid.
I was happy, I was happy that they had the blueprints and
Sure.
I went through them for, I don't know,
Yeah.
half hour.
Hasn't
hour
affected the outside walls yet?
No,
Okay.
nothing.
Because the outside are probably on footings.
Yep,
Okay,
yep, because you gotta remember the jail is built, really, 5'6" above grade.
mhm,
So then that's all fill
sure,
on top of that, so.
yeah, okay. Anything else? Let everything else ride?
Yeah, let everything go.
Okay. All right, so is that a motion?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I
Okay.
have one other thing, I'm sorry. I just wanted to follow back up with that, Haley, real quick. So just to make sure I understand right, Iowa code makes it a requirement for you to have all original documents of anything that passes before this board, correct?
yes. Well, and then usually like in the minute book that you guys come and sign too, but since that's not always, I mean, yeah, you're
Right.
supposed to have an original.
Right.
But like we found out this week with the contract, we can't find the signed employee contract. But yet a resolution, when it refers to that,
Mhm.
that's where that should be followed up and we should have an original on file somewhere.
Right, so that's what I was wondering, if the code requires you to have those documents, whose responsibility is it
Yep,
to
I
follow up?
can give you this, 331.504.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I'm
aware of
saying, if my name is attesting on it, I
Right.
know I have that, but some documents don't have auditor attesting them, so then
Right.
those particular ones probably aren't my responsibility if I'm
Sure.
not attesting, but I would still, I can't fulfill open records requests. So nobody, I mean, nobody can recall where these, some of these documents are.
Right, and I'm trying to find some stuff too, and I know with the, my predecessor, I'm trying to, some files were in our office, some files were in your office, and so that's why I'm just wondering if it's something you attested to, and I can't find it in my office, from, documents from my predecessor, then, you would have the
It
original.
would be in our original minute book,
in your
so if you come into
office,
my
'cause that's
office,
a
the
requirement that
book,
you have that.
the big hardcover book
Mhm.
has, yes, all those things.
Okay.
You would just have to make a copy out of my book.
Right,
It's not like one you would hand out over the counter, so.
right, okay.
So stop in if you need something.
Yeah.
But, with HR being a new position, yes.
Yeah, there's
It's
gonna
been a
be-
transition, and there's
Yeah.
things that we haven't found, like when she moved files, we had stuff that were taken out of my office, and that's where I think it needs to have better protocol going forward.
Yeah, that's why electronic records would be helpful, like with the.
But I
HR system.
still, by Code of Iowa, I have to provide a hard copy of the book, so that's where you guys have to come in
We
and
come in and
update.
sign,
Yep.
yeah.
So that is listed out in the code clearly.
Okay.
Right, yep, I read it, I was just clarifying because,
Yep. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm good.
Did you second it?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Call for vote. Primer, aye.
Team and I,
Shank eye.
Thank you.
on the road.
All right. Would you, before you leave, will you print that resolution for me, please, two of them? I want you to sign the wage one, comp one.
Yeah.
Are you available